Hey everybody, this is Kathy Hester and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of Misfit Market. So some of you have seen me do these before. So Misfit Market is kind of like a seconds or misfit or imperfect produce box that I order ahead of time. I don't know what's going to come in it. Some parts of the country people are choosing what's in their Misfit Market, but it's not here yet. I like to kind of show you everything. I've been getting some really good stuff. I've been really happy with it. We'll talk a little bit about the different produce that we find, how I'm going to prep it, possibly use it, and if you have questions, please ask up. And I see a few people are on now, so if you want to tell me hello and tell me where you're from and what the weather is like there, because it just got cooler today here in Durham, North Carolina. So first I'm going to show you kind of how this comes, and they've changed their inner packaging. So one of the things they always do is put in a card, a recipe card, which is pretty cool. And I see that more people are coming on, so I'll read. Hi Melody, it's very nice to see you here. And while the recipes are not vegan, right? And actually this will help. I have this catty cornered now, so I'm trying to get used to it. We could use aquafaba in place of the beaten egg, and we could still make it just the way it is. So that's always cool. Melody's in Atlanta, Georgia. It's cold. It's been about 40-something here today. And Jeannie is from Ohio. So this is what they're storing things in now. Can you guys see it's kind of corrugated? Let me bring over a piece of what they were using before. I've got a piece of it over here. So they've really upped their recycle game, which I'm pretty proud of. So this is how it was stored before. So you can take this out and recycle what's inside. We've been just repackaging with it. So, but this is going to be completely corrugated and recycled. So they have some paper packing, and then they have an ice pack. And I've just been recycling those and giving them to people who need them so that none of that goes to waste. And then we have another piece of cardboard, and I get the large order. So I'm going to switch around and move this because I'm short and it's tall, and we'll talk about some more of what's in here. So this is all organic produce from Misfit Market. This is the large box, and it costs about $35, and then I think it's $4.50 shipping. And this got delivered earlier today. So like the kale is a little bit on the sadder side than it usually is. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that in a little bit of water before I prep it by stripping the stems off and just kind of having it torn up so that I can either throw it in a smoothie or put it in a stir fry or something like that. And so again, this is Misfits Market. I've got, and everything is organic. So I've got these 2 cucumbers, and let's look from the top. And so I'm going to squeeze on them. These are really, really fresh, actually. I don't see any marks or anything on them. And what I try to do is give you an overhead view so you can see everything that's in the box, too. We've got some apples. Looks like maybe Golden Delicious type apples. They do put up something about the different kinds of produce that you might get. And so you can kind of have an idea. Got these big old nice lemons, which are also awesome. I have a bunch of pears. These pears look like they're in good shape. With the apples, they look a little dusty on the top, and I'll show you that. So I see more people are coming on. So what we're doing is we're unboxing Misfits Market, which is seconds, imperfect, ugly produce, however you want to say. Get some more pears. So right now, at least from this layer, it looks like we've got 6 apples, 6 pears, 3 ginormous lemons that are in really good shape, 2 small bunches of kale. In previous boxes, I've gotten giant bunches. And 2 long English cucumbers. I've got 4 smallish zucchini. And there are some marks on this, but it's just like kind of a little bit rough handling more than anything else. One of the things that you can do with the zucchini, if you're not going to use it now, is you can grate it up and use it later, like in zucchini bread. I put it in chocolate chip cookies. Oh, it looks like we've got some green beans. They do use these compostable bags when they do use bags for something like this. They've done baby broccoli. There are a few little nibbles out of some of the green beans, right? Just kind of like you see normally. So we'll just clean those up. So we probably have about 2 pounds of green beans. So we'll put those over there. Okay. So let's see what we've got. We haven't even gotten to the second layer. So now we're at the second layer. And of course, because I bought a bunch of celery on sale, I have 2 bunches of celery. And these are looking pretty good, actually. There's a few little blemishes, and I'm just going to cut those off after I clean it really well. Another thing that you can do with celery is, and I'll show you, I've been doing this because you can use the celery leaves as garnish. And so I've just cut some of these down, but this one you can see on the bottom really well. See how it's growing roots? And I'm starting these guys. And so then it regrows the celery. So either I could take a piece or use some of the leaves as a garnish. So that's something fun to do. And so what that would look like would be taking some of these off the side, right? Like this. Let's say we were using this much. And you can start to see now how this looks a lot like what you saw when I pulled it out. This is where the roots will regrow. So you could cut a lot of it off or just leave it to where it's just the, I'm going to be using a bunch of this later. So we can leave it like this and let it soak. Now what's going to happen is this is going to deteriorate, and I end up going in a couple times a week and peeling some of this off and changing the water. Because if not, it gets kind of murky and not so nice. So that's something fun to do with celery. And it's a nice winter project just to feel like some sort of green leaves are coming around. Oh my God, I think this is, from this angle I thought maybe it's a pomelo. It's a baby spaghetti squash. So that would be nice for like a little appetizer or something, or maybe I'll make like a little faux pasta salad with it, because it's not going to be a lot. It wouldn't be a full meal probably. When I cut it in half, I can see what I can scoop out, but we can also cut this in half, bake it until it's mostly done, and then kind of just like use a fork to get the pieces to come apart, because the little spaghetti strands will come apart. If you overcook it, it smushes together. Then we could put some pasta sauce and maybe a little bit of vegan cheese or a vegan oil-free vegan cheese sauce, and you could make kind of like little spaghetti halves or something like that. So that's kind of cool. I have some potatoes. These look, oh, and there is a name for these potatoes that look really purple, but aren't like Peruvian purple potatoes. And I found out the other day and immediately forgot what they were. So if anybody really wants to know, if you actually put a comment, I will come back. Oh, and Barbara, who lives where I do, she gave some of her blemished parts of her Misfit Market to the visitors in her yard. And I do that too. So I think it was a mango that I only half use, and so the chipmunks are digging it. So it is nice to do, like, these little parts that aren't perfect really can just go and feed somebody else. But see, like, ooh, it's a crooked carrot. Not the end of the world. These are also organic carrots, so you don't have to peel them. But there, someone has probably taken a bite a while ago, so I would cut that off. And let me show you a little bit closer, right? And it's not mold or anything, it's just discolored. So I wouldn't throw the whole thing away at all, at all. Let's see if I can, I've got more misshapen carrots in here too. Some little ones, one that was kind of ate its twin, it looks like, in there. Oh, here's another giant lemon. And we've got a couple of onions. We've got a medium one and a small one. And so one of the things that can happen too is things can be not as uniform, even though these apples are pretty much the same size. The lemons are. The potatoes are not, right? So we've got a bigger potato and a smaller potato. It's not that much different than having uniform potatoes. You just cut them up to be the same size when you're cooking them. So it's not that big a deal. And then finally, and these are things I don't usually buy because they're expensive, we have shallots. So shallots are fancy, kind of mild onion. They're used in French cuisine a lot. And so just like we've talked before about what I do with the onions, is that I will cut them up now after I get off the video and freeze them already cut up. And that way during the week, all I have to do is just scoop in and get some onions to throw in anything that I'm cooking. And Barb says she loves getting her boxes. It's a new menu when it comes. I know, it really is fun to see what's going to be here and kind of put things together. Like, we could do, let's see, we could do like a pear, zucchini, potato, kale soup. We could do like a green bean, potato, onion stir fry with celery. There's just all different ways. So usually there are a few different things you can do just within the box. And then I could take some other things. So I have, you guys can't see that much, but over past the fridge, I have anything else. Like I have onions over there that I didn't quite break down last week. Oh, and Jody says she wishes it had it in her area. I do know that they are expanding. So every time they expand, and I put in, I don't know which way it's going to be when you're, it depends on what you're watching on. But in the description, I put a link with my code because you can get 25% off your first box with Misfit Market. I have noticed when they've gone to a new area, then they do it for like 7 or 14 days where it's 50% off. So I try to tell you right now it is 25% off. But when you're looking at this amount of organic produce, let's see if I can squish some things in a little bit more. I mean, this is a good amount of produce for organic, especially when you're looking at the shallots, a couple of pounds of green beans and all that. I feel like I've come out ahead every single time. I think I've lost maybe an onion and a half. Usually I just lose a piece of something. There was one bunch of kale that I lost a little more, but I also was not able to get it in the house as soon as it got delivered, so that's a little bit on me. And Jody's in Canada, so I'm sure there's something like that, and I don't know if Brandy's watching this at all. Brandy is in Canada as well, which I know is not next door to you, because, you know, Canada is a big place, just like the United States, but she might know of some different producers who are doing similar things. It's very similar to a CSA, though I found the value to be a little higher. There are other places here like Hungry Harvest, Imperfect Produce, and a few others. And if there's one that you're involved in that I haven't mentioned or that you're trying out, please leave it in the comments because we would love to know about it, and tell us how you like it. I actually did a blog post about our ugly produce boxes for you, because what happens with this is it actually goes through either UPS or the Postal Service or something like that. Let me see if I can see if it's which one it says. FedEx. So this comes FedEx. And so what that means, just like with anything that ever gets delivered through things like that, is something could happen. It could get misplaced. It could arrive days or even a week late. This is all unlikely scenarios, but you have to be kind of okay with it, right? What would happen if this arrived next week and this was all moldy and bad produce is all I have to do is contact Misfits Market. They will refund it. So that's something to know too. If there's something here, like let's say, instead of just a little discoloration, that let's say this was just moldy and soft, which it's not. It's a little soft. So I'll probably end up cutting out that piece actually. But it's not like moldy soft. If I was really unhappy about that, or I wasn't sure, even before I cut into it, I'm going to take a picture of it. Then I'll open it up and take another picture. And if I'm really unhappy, those photos are what I'm going to send to Misfits Market or Hungry Harvest or Imperfect Produce. And that's how they'll know if they can refund you. With Hungry Harvest, I did that several times because there were some things you could order kind of like a la carte, and I kept ordering some kale a la carte for a period of time that just wasn't that good, and they refunded me right away. So I feel very confident in trying these things. It is possible, as with anything that comes through any kind of mail or delivery service, something could be happening. Oh, and Jody lives in a farming county, a farming country. So you could also look in and see if they have CSAs or community supported agriculture, and that's where you kind of pay money directly to a farmer and you get a box every week as well. And with this, you can get the big box like this, a small box with Misfits Market. You can get it delivered every week or every other week. But it's fun, and I think you guys like seeing what's going on. If you have some questions about any of these vegetables, at some point before a week has passed from today, I still have some sunchokes that we talked about, and I'm going to do something with that. I do have a class tomorrow, and you can go to kathy-hester.teachable.com, and actually in the description I have a link to the January bundle. We're going to be making things like soups and one-pot meals that you're going to meal prep but isn't going to go into your freezer or your fridge. And so that way we can really do up a whole bunch of those, have them when you're home and you're tired, just throw something in to your Instant Pot and get it going. That's the class we're doing tomorrow, which is make ahead one-pot meals that we're going to store in jars. Then on the Sunday after that, not this Sunday, but the next Sunday, we're going to do Instant Pot bean class, and we're going to do all kinds of really yummy recipes with that. And the other thing is my new book comes out next month, and it's gluten-free vegan cooking in your Instant Pot, and you can pre-order that now, and I think I put that link there too. So be sure to let me know what you're making this week. Let me know if you got Misfits Market, how you're liking yours, or if there was something that wasn't quite up to par, or if you're using a different service. And hopefully we'll be unboxing again next week. Okay? Have a wonderful weekend and do whatever you can to make your life a little bit easier and to make it easy to make dinner every night.